Turn your mic on.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. Hi, Felicia.
Hi,
Thanks for
Michelle.
joining us today. I am so happy to see you. It is Saturday. It's another opportunity for Use Your Voice with Michelle Mapenzi. And we are here to talk about real life stories from real life women who doing real life things in a real life big way. So I am just pleased to have you on today. Felicia told me I'll come on as many times as you need me to, right?
Yes.
We can talk about and do whatever we want. Just before we get started today, I do want to dedicate this show to one of my business partners and friends. Her name is Burgundy Allison. She has a book called Fish Bones and Breadcrumbs, a guided journal. Um, and it is just such a blessing. So I just wanted to shout her out. She don't even know I'm doing that today. I also
Wow.
have in one of her sweatshirts, Black Girl Divinity.
I
And
love
so she's
it.
doing big things in the world. And I just wanted to give her a shout out today on the show.
Love it.
I was just reading a message. Okay, so I, as always, will begin the show by reading from Ayanna Van Zant. One day, my soul just opened up. Y'all see my bookmark? That's Trivia's Inspirational Radio. That's my bookmark. And uh, what I'm going to do is read from day 12, right? I know that we're going to talk about choices today and everything we're going to talk about. So I just know it's going to be appropriate. I've been on choices now for 2 months, y'all. I don't know what that's really saying to me in the world, but it is giving
Mm.
me a lot of life and a lot of vibes. What she says on day 12, Felicia, is that we honor ourselves by making choices. And she says it's the ability to recognize alternatives and possible consequences, thereby enabling the selection of that which is most desirable, admirable, and honorable, and the ability to act in response to those recognized alternatives. So basically,
Mhm.
that we have alternatives in life, that we have choices we can make in life. And all of those choices, we have to accept the possible consequences of those and
Mm.
make choices, right?
I love it.
And I just believe it is the choices that we make in life that determines our peace, our happiness, our joy, our success, whatever that might mean for whomever. It's the choices that really get to define that. And it's the choices that we make. She goes on to say, it's not that we do not realize that we must make choices. For most of us, it's the fear of making the wrong choice. In some cases, it's the failure to choose is the result of fear. I'm sorry, it is the result of fear and the letting go of the old for the new, the familiar for the unfamiliar. So she's saying for many of us, it's not that we don't know we have choices. What stops us from making those choices is the fear of letting go because we don't know what that new thing is or that unfamiliar thing is. And so it stops us from making choices.
Mm.
She then says, this is the essence of choice, the ability to make our wishes known, to let go and stand on new and unfamiliar ground. What we do not realize is that choice is a divine teacher. It teaches us about us, about what we like, what we don't like. This is me saying this now, but it teaches us what we like and what we don't like, and it helps us to trust ourselves. She goes on to say that it's a choice is a divine teacher. For when we choose, we learn that nothing is ever put in our path without a reason. When we choose to follow a certain path or engage in a certain activity, it is because that choice holds a lesson for us. When we stand still, refusing to choose, we miss the divine opportunity to develop our intuition and obey the whisperings of our heart. Choice teaches us how to listen and why we must obey. And then at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how she goes on with that. But let's just start the show with that, Lisa. Well, I mean, Lisa. Now, you know I'm
You
wrong.
got Lisa on your mind.
Huh?
You got Lisa on your mind.
Listen, I don't know where that came
When
from.
you
You come
saw
along
Lisa,
with
you
Lisa.
know, my sister.
Yes, you come along with Lisa. Lisa, Felicia, that just all go together, right? I don't know how I did that because I know you're
God
not
did
Lisa.
that.
Huh?
I said God did that.
God did that. Well, Lisa is going to be in the atmosphere. Her energy and her spirit is here with us.
Yes.
But I am delighted to have you, Felicia. Delighted to talk to you. So you heard what I read about Ayan and from Ayanla's book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up, and it's about choices. So as you introduce yourself, just talk a little bit about how and what you think about choices.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Felicia Mckoy-Laguerre with the Real McCoy Services. Um, this morning, if I had to think about choices, um, choices is a tough one. Like you read and you described so beautifully about the fact that fear is what keeps us from making choices.
Awesome.
The other part of that is um choices is the thing sometimes we don't even like to own. We go about life and we say, well, God did this, or she did this, or he did this, because we refuse to make the choice to do something in our life. And it's like we often say in the spiritual world that the devil did this to me, you know, but the reality is, based on what you read and what you talked about, is that if we really take the onus of the fact that we have a choice of good or evil, bad or right, right or left, up or down. We have that choice. And I totally agree with you that choices really do dictate the outcome of success, you know, I mean, the natural order of our life, of so many different things. And I am actually I'm dealing in my life personally with so many different choices that I have to make that will determine the future or the direction my business will go in, my children will go in. And I do get it that making choices is tough, but they are necessary.
Yes. They are so necessary. I like what you said about many of us don't own our choices, right? Instead
Mhm.
of owning our choices, we blame, shame, and guilt, either ourselves or other people, all because we don't want to own our choices. I can think about, as you were saying that, at least three choices I ain't want to own. I did not want to own those choices. And for a long time, I just blame because I didn't want to own the choices that I made, the red flags that I ignored,
Mm,
the the disrespect
mm,
that I allowed, right?
mm.
And I didn't want to own it at first because I'm like, I ain't the one did it. I wasn't the one who. And so all of that is blame. And it's not until we actually accept our choices and learn from them
Mm.
that we can
You
begin to be free in whatever area that is. That's just what I
can
believe.
can I say something else?
Sure.
You know, we will lessen the fear if we realize that even if we make the wrong choice, it's still a choice. And the God that we love and the God that we believe in, even when we make the wrong choice, is right there with us to help guide us to the right choice eventually. And the good thing, even when we make the wrong choice, is still a lesson in it. It's a lesson. I remember when I was a little girl, my mother used to say, "You better do the right thing. You better do." And I remember being a young girl thinking, "Well, Mom, I need you to teach me what that right thing is." And I was afraid of doing the wrong thing, but I didn't know what was right. So
Right.
we have to work at telling the story about what's good, because sometimes we get so educated and so knowledgeable and so powerful that we forget that we are human, and it's okay to make mistakes.
It is okay to make mistakes. How about it's okay not to know?
It's
You know,
okay.
it's
It's
okay just to
okay. As
simply,
intelligent as you are, as gifted as you may be, it's okay. It's okay.
it's okay. I
Guess
don't
what?
know. It's
That's a
okay.
part of the journey.
Yes. I love
And
it. I
when
love
you
it.
are
I love
afraid of
it.
making a
And
choice
she,
on the journey, you're not living. You're just existing.
yep, yep. Yep. And oftentimes when you think about, so let's just go into a little bit of your story. Can you hear me?
Yes, just fine.
Okay. So if we go into a little bit of your story, you were born here in Baltimore or in Maryland, but you weren't raised here in Maryland, right? Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so you were raised in Kansas?
That's right. Manhattan, Kansas, the Little Apple.
Manhattan, Kansas. Now that is a place that I have never been. Kansas. So tell us a little bit how you wound up in Kansas. How was life in Kansas? And then how'd you make it back to Baltimore?
Good question. Um, my mom got married around 8 years. I was about 8 years old when she married my stepdad, and he was in the military. So we lived for about a year in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And then from Fayetteville, he got stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas. Um, so Fort Manhattan is about 30 minutes outside of Fort Riley. So we started living in Manhattan until housing was ready in Fort Riley. Um, so living in Kansas was way different than Baltimore. I
That's
was
how
this
I can imagine.
I was this little girl who had a boombox on her shoulder, beat bopping, break dancing, talking loud, saying what was on my mind. And these people was like, who? I mean, it was so quiet. It was, things were in order. Even poverty looked different in Manhattan, Kansas than Baltimore, Maryland. Um, so even in the midst of poverty, whatever, it was still good living. It's Manhattan, Kansas. It's a great college town. Um, it's the home of the Kansas State University Wildcats. Go Wildcats!
Yes.
That's one of my schools I did attend. Um, but it's a great place. It's a lot of farm towns, country living. Great place to raise kids.
Isn't that fantastic? Wow. Wow. So, what brought you back to Baltimore?
Now, what brought me back to Baltimore? Life. I, I left Kansas in about 1994. I was engaged to be married, moved to Alabama, learned quickly that was a mistake. And I thought, okay, now I left Kansas and I need a solid foundation to land on. And I have family still here. So my grandmother and my auntie was still here. So um my mother wasn't living the best, so I said, let me go to Baltimore. It's a lot more opportunities. Kansas is so small. If you didn't drive, you had to catch a cab, or you had to know someone, or you had to foot it. Okay, so that means put on your Nikes and get to walking. So Baltimore had so many more opportunities for employment, education, um, and my family was here. So I moved back to Baltimore to continue
Wow.
all of that. So
So was it a big transition for you? Because at that point you hadn't been in Baltimore for a few years. Um,
ooh,
what were the two biggest challenges moving back to Baltimore, would you say?
let me tell
That you
you.
look, and then I, because I'm asking challenges, because then I want to know the lessons. So what
Let
would you
me
say
tell
were the
you.
two?
Let me tell you. So I came back to Baltimore in 1994. I was in a domestic violence relationship, basically. When we moved to Alabama, I had been with him 2 years prior to moving to Alabama before he got out of the military. And when we moved down there, he became abusive. So it didn't start right away. It happened once he got me out my comfort zone. And so once he showed me that side of abuse, I was like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna hurt you, you're gonna hurt me. I got to go. So I called my family and they were like, come on home, baby. And so I came to Baltimore. I was here a week. I was like, I seen drugs on the corner. I seen all this stuff happening around me. I was like, this look, oh no. I went back into the abusive relationship. Oh my God. And I had to make a choice right there. Like, when I went back, of course, he made all the promises. I'm never going to do this again. I love you. I don't know why, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't change. So I very quickly saw that he wasn't going to change. And this time I couldn't cry wolf to my family and come back to Baltimore. I had to make sure that this is what I wanted to do, and that I had to know for myself that this relationship wasn't where God had for me. And so I got a job. I took 6 months, saved up my money, started shipping my stuff. And then one day I told him, and I had to realize that even though Baltimore would look scary, because I came from a small town, it was better than living with the big bad wolf. So in 6 months, I moved back to Baltimore. And Baltimore was very, very scary. I didn't know how to catch a bus. I didn't know the people were crazy. I was this little girl who you said, excuse me, miss, you sound like a white lady. And I was crying because I was like, I'm not white. I'm a black lady. I just talk proper. I didn't understand that, and even my family had a hard time, I guess processing that I was different, but I was their family. So that was hard. That was the hardest part for me, just accepting that I was different in this hardcore, fast-paced life I had never seen. I seen drugs, but I never seen drugs dealt on the corner in your face. I
Yeah,
saw
like
it
where you
eating
could see.
where you could see, but I never seen that before. I mean, I saw it in a house, I saw it in a door. I knew people who did it. The truth be told, my mama was a drug dealer, but I never seen it in that way. You hid that. You shunned that. You didn't, but out in the open air, this what we doing. This
Yeah,
how we
you.
get down. I was like, whoa, this
Yeah,
is
it was a little
scary.
different, right?
It was very different.
A
Very different.
reality check, right?
Yeah, it
I
was.
suppose. I suppose. I wanted to go back to the domestic violence topic, because we may have women who might stumble upon this and watch it, and or listening to it on the radio as it plays back or whatever. But domestic violence to me is one of those topics that if you've never experienced it, I suggest you just keep your mouth off of it.
I
Because
agree.
I hear so many people discussing domestic violence who've never actually experienced a domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a textbook thing.
No, it's
It's
not. It's
not,
not.
it's deeper than that. And you'll never understand it unless you've been in it, right?
I would
So,
even I would even add that it's very complex, because the thing that gets the most attention is the physical side of domestic
right,
violence,
right.
but
But
the
that's not what it's about.
mental, emotional part is like a crooked. I mean, it's just like this evil thing that's just messy,
I
and
call it poison. It's just poison. It's
that's a
poison.
good way. It's definitely a slow killing poison,
Yeah, it
because
is.
you know it's a thing that you be like, did he just say that to me? Did she just say that to me? Did that just happen? Is
Did
he
he just hit
narcissist?
me?
Is
Did he?
this am I crazy?
Yeah.
It's a slow poison,
It's a slow poison. It's a
and
slow
and
poison.
it's heavy. It's a slow heavy poison.
It's a slow, heavy poison. And it's so subtle. right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And usually, no matter if it's a woman abuser or a male abuser, it doesn't matter to me. It's subtle. It's not like they come out the gate slapping you. It's not
And, lem-
like,
and let me tell you this. Our history, the even sadder part is our history has normalized domestic violence
yes, 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 too much, too much.
too much.
And you know, from a woman's perspective, because that's all I know about. Um, a lot of times when you don't leave, when somebody doesn't leave an abusive relationship immediately, the judgment that people
That's
develop
mm, that's
is
powerful.
just as toxic as the
Mm,
relationship that that
mm.
person is in. And I don't think people realize that. And I have been in a domestic violence relationship, and I have also seen family and friends and clients and families that I served, you know, be a part of domestic situations. And to be totally honest, the reason a woman stays, and I'm only talking about women, each one of those reasons was different.
Each one of them are different.
Each
Each
one
one
of
of
them
them
different.
different. One of the reasons I would think a lot of women would say to themselves, because I've been there, because the one that I talked about, that's just one of the domestic violence issues or relationships I've been in. Um, you know, you stay because you love the person. You stay because your faith wants to tell you he'll change. You stay because ain't nobody perfect. You stay because maybe he don't know. You find reasons within yourself to make it make sense, even if
For
you
me,
think
it was
it's
the
not right.
embarrassment of it. You know, I was so embarrassed that I was even in it. One, because I couldn't understand how I got in it.
Mm,
For the life of me, I just did not and could not um understand. I was so lost. I was just like
mm,
fabric. I was lost, and I was young too.
mm.
So it
And
was
it don't.
like,
Yes, it can be very embarrassing, and it doesn't matter if you're young or old.
yeah,
It
it can be
it
very
can happen.
embarrassing. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think for me, Felicia, it was, I was so lost in it. Like I could not understand how, if I could understand how I got in it. And at the time I'm talking about, I understand now, but at the time I couldn't understand how I winded up in this abusive relationship, because in my mind, it was the best relationship. And then it turned into this. And
Mhm.
so I was still like trying to get my bearing together. Like, when did we get here? Like, you
Mhm.
know, because I remember the
Mhm.
first time he hit me, he
Mm.
actually hit me in front of a police officer.
What?
And the police officer saw it. And
And what did
I
you
said,
do?
he didn't hit me. I was
You
so
said that?
lost. I was so lost. I'm telling you. I couldn't believe it. It just was like, it was like I was watching somebody else be abused. Like that's how I had separated myself from it,
Mm.
until I realized, no, this you, chick. He hit you. Like I was just so lost. I remember just being so lost in it. And when the police officer said, "Ma'am, I watched him punch you," I was like, "Oh, I guess you did." You know? It
Mm.
was just, it was very uh traumatizing, I would
Mm.
say, because I was so lost in it.
Mm.
However, you know, at some point you decide this is enough. And
Mhm.
so for you, it was, I'm gonna work my way out of it. You know,
Mhm.
like you were saying,
Mhm.
I got a job, I started shipping myself stuff back. At some point, we all get to a point where we've had enough. And so I think that was your breaking point. You had had
Mhm.
enough. And what did you learn about yourself as you left that relationship?
Mm. If I had to look back and think about that, I was stronger than I thought I was. I'm definitely stronger than I ever imagined I could be. Um, because let me tell you this. This man, we were living in a state that it was an open carry state. You didn't have to have a license to have a handgun, a shotgun, or anything. So on the dresser, he
Wow.
put a handgun, a shotgun, a 4x4, and he told me, now leave. Now leave me. See what's gonna happen. Now leave. And I still left. Now I had to make a plan because okay, you crazy. Because I'm gonna take that 4x4, I'm gonna take that gun, I'm gonna take you one of us gonna hurt each other. And so you don't know me, sir. And I realized that I cry. I literally remember feeling like I was crying every day. And but I realized that I was stronger than I realized I even knew I had in me. That I had a fight in me that I didn't even understand. That
Yep.
even through that, if I went through that and came out okay, or stronger. Maybe not completely okay, I'm a little crazy now, probably from that. Um, but I definitely know that I'm stronger. And I know if I went through that, I can overcome anything. And like I told you, that was just one relationship of domestic violence or domestic violence. Because I was married, and he wasn't physically abusive. He was a narcissist. He was
Ooh.
mentally and emotionally abusive. And everybody we knew loved him. He was an extrovert. He had the crowd, the church. Oh no, he's a good man. You know, and I did some things that weren't right, and he just said, oh, see, that's who you are. But he made promises to change. He made promises to be a better father. He made but he was narcissistic. He would shut it down. That thing is worse than the physical abuse.
Yes. If you ever had, if it have being in the grip of a narcissist, mm, mm, mm. You literally a lot of times have to convince yourself that you are sane because you feel like you are losing it, right? Like the games that are played, the manipulation,
Mhm.
the up and down, the in and outs of it is like
Mhm.
the worst, the
Mhm.
worst, the
And
worst.
the re- and
And
the, and the other reality is, you sometimes will never know you're in a domestic violence relationship until you really get to know somebody.
yep, yeah. And I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel like you should come with a tag.
That would
You
be
should come with
awesome.
a tag
But it's
that
called life.
says I'm a
It's called life.
narcissist.
And
You
it's
know,
called about it's about living, and that's a part
it
of the
is.
journey.
It's like, but why can't I feel the same way about that I do about other things? We'll have an offline conversation. But I feel like we should get a heads up and we should be able to make a choice. However,
That,
we don't get that. We don't get that in life. And that's why to me it's so important to know yourself, to be self-aware, to be emotionally intelligent because you never know until you know, right? Especially with another person because like I said, even a domestic violence situation I was in, I just looked up one day and I was in it. It was like, and I was dealing with a narcissist. My mom used to call him Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because he would literally switch that fast, like be totally okay and then gone, right? And I ain't know nothing about mental illness. At that time I was only 18,
true.
19. I
Mhm.
ain't know anything about mental illness like that. My dad had worked with developmentally disabled, so I did know about, people who had developmental delays and things like that. But mental illness I had never really known right offhand. And so, just being in that situation, I learned a lot about myself. One was that I had to trust myself. When I felt like something wasn't right, it wasn't right. I didn't have to have all this evidence and, all of that. If I felt like it wasn't right, it wasn't right. So, you definitely learned that you had strength. And I love that because we all have this inner strength that only if we just tapped into it, right? It would be phenomenal. But anyway, I want to move off of the domestic violence thing, even though I know it probably gave you the strength that surpasses all of our understanding. Um, I want to move into how you were able to channel that energy and be successful in your facilitation, in your speaking, in your businesses that you have. How were you able to channel all that you learned from those relationships and about yourself that you were able to channel in business? Like, what has been the most beneficial to you?
Hmm. Good question. That's another good question. I love all of your questions, Michelle.
I know
Um,
I be getting them right.
yes, you do. You do. Um, the number one thing I would say is God. Um,
Hi,
I,
Tracy.
I love, 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 love God. Um, because he will never. I mean, that one of my scriptures, he will never, ever leave nor forsake me. Um, that has been my greatest strength, God,
So all of
because
your experiences have drawn you closer to
let,
God.
let me let me
Mhm.
let me let me be even crystal clear candid with you. I'm in a relationship right now, and I found another narcissist. So I'm still in a place where I am trying to, I'm like, God, again, this person 4 years in, and I see this narcissist. Oh my God, oh my God. So now I'm like, God, there's a something I missed from the first two men that I didn't get. And so I'm gonna stay until I get it. And I'm using all of that negative energy to push. God is using it to push me, to push these businesses. I'm telling you, when I can fully tell you the story of where I am right now, and what God is using to envelope business, and I have God financially. If you look at my finances, you would say, how was she able to go to Detroit? How is she about to take a vacation? How is she paying her bills? How is she God? And I'm telling you, earlier this year I started working for this company like Instacart doing ship, because I was like, I got to make some extra money to have to pour into the business to keep building the business. And God said, don't do that. I didn't call you to, that's not what I'm telling you to do. Stop. I told you to do the Real McCoy services and your paparazzi. Push that. That's what I told you to do. And I need you to keep doing it. And I said, well, God, what about this? And he said that, faith without works is dead. So either you're going to trust me and keep pushing and doing what I'm telling you to do, to keep speaking, to keep writing, to keep telling your story. And guess what? In the background, I got this narcissist. So you can only imagine what that looks like. But God say, get up, turn your music on, praise the Lord, keep pushing, keep praying, keep going. You're not gonna let that stop you. What you're gonna do, because he said he'll make your enemies your footstool, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna
Mhm.
push, and you're gonna keep pushing, and you're gonna let it elevate you. Because see, this is something that God had to show me. We want things comfortable and easy, but it's through those hard things, that it's through the dirt that makes a diamond. And so, if I want to be a diamond, if I want to come forth as pure gold, I got to be willing to go through the muck and the mire. And I said, God, me? Why? He said, why not you? He said, I sent my son to die for your salvation. Why not you? Why can't you go through anything? Because guess what? That first domestic violence, that husband, and even this is not going to break you, because greater is he that is in you than he is
Yes,
in the
girl.
world. So you got
Yes.
this. So you can use it to push, use it to encourage other women,
Yes,
use it to tell
definitely.
women that ain't gonna stop you. That's not the
Nothing.
end. You have to make a choice and you have to know who you are. Guess what? Even in a domestic violence situation, it doesn't mean you're less than. It doesn't
Right.
mean God doesn't love you. It doesn't mean you don't have purpose. Because God said, I can use anything. If he can use a dog, he can use anything. If he can use a snake, and we see that as evil and nasty, he can use anything.
Yes, anything. I love it. I love it. You wanna know why? Because I can relate. I tell people all the time, I'm gonna do the opposite of what you think I should do in a situation. When you think that a situation is supposed to have me down, I'm gonna go
Absolutely.
harder than the opposite direction. You
Absolutely.
get what I mean?
Yes.
Because I refuse to let things determine my peace, my joy, my happiness, my success. All
Amen.
of that is non-negotiable.
Amen.
So no matter what I'm going through,
No
not
matter
that I'm
what.
not human and things don't bother me,
No matter
because they
what.
do, but
Hmm.
I refuse. You know, I just had a very life and death type of situation happen to me. And I was telling people, they were like, "Oh, Michelle, I'm so sorry. I hope you get, I'm so glad that you didn't get hurt." And I was thinking every time somebody said that, like, y'all don't know, I'm about to go harder.
Mm.
Because what that showed me was
Mm.
I'm here for a reason. I
For a
could have
reason.
lost my
You could have
life.
lost your life, and I'm a testament to that. You could have lost your
I could
life,
have been out of here. Do you hear me?
but
I'm
God
going to go
saved you.
harder.
He spared you, and you still here to tell it.
And now I got to go harder.
All right.
You know, I
All
gotta
right.
go harder when it comes down to, the ladies league, when it comes down to the work that I'm doing with these pivot ladies, whatever I'm doing, my family, I got to go harder. I don't have time to play. I got to go hard. And when I say hard, I mean excellence, right? Doing things because that's what I'm supposed to be doing and that I do it in excellence. Not perfection, but in excellence. That that I care, that I'm
Mm.
passionate about it, that I'm going to show up for it,
Yes.
me, completely me. And I think that's what we all have in common. That's why I love the Ladies League. Plug and shout out to the Ladies League of
Yes.
Baltimore
Go
and the Ladies
ladies
League of
league. Go
Detroit
ladies league.
is long, and also Ladies League of Jacksonville, Florida. We
Yes.
are just moving and shaking, and we are women who are determined not to give up. That's what I love about you, Felicia. At the end of the day, because I remember we had this conversation. We having it on the radio now, but we had this conversation a few months ago when you were deciding whether to leave a job or um, go into, consultant work or whatever. And I just remember where my spirit connected with your spirit was that we refuse to give up. We refuse, as long as we know for certain that that's what God would have us to do, we
I'm gonna do
refuse
it.
to give up.
That's right.
We refuse to give up. Now, you doing all of these great and wonderful things. You still dealing with some other things, but I just think that's there so you don't get comfortable. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Amen. I
That's
receive it. I
that's
receive
the
it.
only
I
reason it's
receive
there
it.
so you won't get comfortable. Because
I
if he removes
receive it.
that, you're gonna get
I
comfortable.
I receive it. See,
That's the
see,
only
some
reason it's
people won't
there.
understand that, but I got it. I hear you. I
Just don't
hear
want
you.
you to get too comfortable now.
Hey,
That's the
hey,
only
I
reason that's
can't.
still present.
I can't afford to. There are too many women's lives that's connected to my life. I can't get comfortable.
And if y'all really want to hear Felicia, she is going to be giving a presentation several places. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes at the end to talk about all your speaking engagements coming up. But you're also going to be speaking next month to the Ladies League of Baltimore, and you guys can get that information at the end of the show as well. But you're also a mother, Felicia. Now,
Yes,
all that we just talked about and that you experienced, on top of that, you somebody's mama.
yes, two beautiful boys. One teenager
Oh
that's
my God.
13 and one little boy that's 8 years old who's
No, that
full of
8-year-old
joy.
son of yours, hon.
Huh?
The 8-year-old son of yours is so self-assured. He is
Yes,
not, he is fearless. Like fearless. He don't even recognize. He just
He
fearless.
doesn't.
I love it. I
He
love it.
doesn't.
I love it. And when you
Ball
raising
of
a woman,
energy.
how is it? So you don't have any girls at all?
No girls. No girls. I
No girls.
believe
So you just got
I
boys.
believe God didn't give me girls because the girls is who I'm supposed to minister on a different level. Um, and I think even that is connected to a greater level of healing from things from my childhood. So I believe God designed this for a reason this way.
All of it works together.
All of it.
All of
All
it
of it.
works together.
All of it.
And it's so funny because raising boys, a mama raising boys is different.
Mm-mm-mm. Yes, it
You
is.
might not, well, you
Yes,
might
it
know, but you
is,
don't you
honey.
don't have a comparison because I got a boy and I got a girl. It's
Whew.
different. Different.
I
It's
know I
different.
have friends that have girls, and I, yeah,
Different. It's a different thing.
it's
A
definitely
different thing.
different. It's different.
Boy,
And the funny thing is, I'm more of a girly girl, so I thought, I'm gonna have a girl. We're gonna have tea, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get our hair. And no, no, these boys don't like to take showers. Boys, they have it already figured out. My 8-year-old tells me, "Ma, I know more than you. I know more than dad. I know more than a teacher. What can you tell me that I don't know?" And I oh boy, you 8. There's no way you know everything. And so I'm like, their
boy, is life going
personalities.
to teach him? Oh my. The lessons he gonna learn. Oh
Yes,
my.
yes.
But guess what? Guess what? I can relate to your son because we believe that we're intelligent. When I was a kid, you could not tell me I was not grown. You could not tell me I could think, I could process, I could figure out stuff, for as like problem solving and stuff like that. You couldn't tell me I wasn't grown. But
Absolutely.
it was life that taught me, child, you don't know half of the things you think you know
Yes.
because it's not about intelligence. It's not about intelligence at all,
At all.
or logic. It's not about logic at all. It's this whole spiritual side, that we don't tap into enough and realize and try to be mature in, right? And that's the part we don't know about life,
Yeah.
right? All these
Yeah.
spiritual laws and things that we
Mm-hmm.
that play out that we can't really see, but we can
Mm,
feel and tap into. So
mm.
anyway, boys are different. You're a mama. How do you
Yes.
make it work? How do you so if a woman is watching this right now, she's a mom, she is trying to learn and grow, and she has a dream and she wants to pursue that dream, but she's a mom and she thinks, well, maybe I should wait until my kids are grown. What would you say to that woman?
I would say number one, don't wait until your children are grown. Um, I think children are a part of the journey to make the journey uh beautiful, colorful. Uh, complexity, it can be a beautiful thing because it grows you, it matures you. Um, so I would say embrace it. The thing is that we have to remember in this time is that community. You need to rely on your community. And if you're in a place where you don't have family to be your community, you have to create your community. um I have so many girlfriends, and they all know my boys call them auntie.
I don't know if it's my
My
internet or
matter of
yours.
fact,
I'm
my
sorry.
grandmother.
Your internet went out.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, go ahead.
um you have to remember that you can. So I would just do it and call on your village to help be your armor bearers. It's like the Ladies League of Baltimore, the Opulent Lady Business Network I'm connected with. These are women that are holding my arms up, and championing me, saying, "Sis, you can do it." And so you have to surround yourself with like minded people that will help encourage you, champion you, women you can call in the middle of the night to cry on, whatever the case is. But even with children, you can do it. It's not the
Yes.
end all. God may have created you to be a mom, but you're more than just a mom. You're a business owner. You're a woman. You are beautiful. That in itself has so many dynamics. So don't lose yourself in just being a mom. You can embrace it and make it colorful and wonderful at the same time. Will it get challenging at times? Yes. But again, that's where you're gonna need your community and your village so that you can continue to stand.
They can sustain you. When what
Yes.
I look at is that it sustains you. It gives you that extra boost, that push, right? Like a vitamin does. A vitamin helps to
I like
nurture. It's like a vitamin. It's like
I
taking
like that.
vitamins. It's like having that extra nourishment and that extra to help you along the way. That's what I see the sisterhood as. It's like vitamins to me. It's like
I
it
like that.
helps supports my health and my wealth and my well-being. And so surrounding yourself with women who can be vitamin C, B, all A,
B.
every all of those nutrients that we need, huh?
All
Yeah,
of
you
that.
get all
Yes.
of that in it. And it's almost like we should take our vitamins every day. You gotta have a sister. You gotta have somebody that you can give your authentic self to, that can support you, not wallow in it with you or help you stay stuck where you are, but that can push you forward, because sometimes we just need that push. We have gone the leg of the journey as long as we can, and now we just need a push. And that push, one of our sisters in the ladies league, Carlita, has push. She's the pusher, and her whole thing and passion is about helping and pushing people forward. And I think that's what we do as a league. And that in the other organization that you're a part of that I just found out about, I think
Yeah.
all of those sisters and that support become the vitamins that you need in this work to do what we're doing as women and
Yes.
as mothers, wives, business owners. Um, some of us are professional women. We have careers and things of that nature. We need vitamins. We need to have our vitamins, which is our
And
sister.
and and I would add that the children are also vitamins. They are in
Absolutely.
of itself encouragers, because I'm trying to teach them how to be, how you can juggle all of these things. And boys are very different than girls, where boys typically can do one thing at a time, and we have all this stuff on our plate. I'm trying to teach my boys, yes, you can do this. Do this first, then take a deep breath and do this next. You can do this. You can do this. Um, One of my sons, he told me, Mama, I can't get good grades. I said, yes, you can. All you got to do is apply effort. I said, now, once you apply effort and you see what you can do, then we can look at what else you need to push you further. And he said, Ma, huh? I said, no, ain't no huh. Just do that. And then guess what? I'm right here, and you can do this. And guess what? Me telling him to do that, it's this thing called A helps B helps A, helps B, or something like that. A helps B, helps A the most, right? So I'm A
Mm-hmm.
and he's B, but I help myself, because then I'm thinking I need to envelope that same concept with the business,
But
with
that's what I was
the
getting ready to say. I was going to say, I was sitting here thinking that as you were saying that, I said, it's so funny you were teaching your son, yes, you can. And then God was dealing with you on, yes, you can. It was like, it's just hand in hand. But Ayanla says that our greatest teachers, for those of us who are mothers, our greatest teachers in life are our children.
I believe that,
It's,
because
it's
my
something
my
about a mirror that your children just give right back to you. It's
well,
like a mirror.
look, my children, some of my coworkers, they knew me before uh I had children. And then after I had my son, they were like, "Oh my God, he matured you in a way as a supervisor. I was trying to tell you, you was." Oh, oh yeah. That God, thank you. Just thank you.
Yeah, they will. Children will show you things about yourself that you hadn't even realized. I think my son taught me that I had this inner strength.
Mm,
That I was stronger than I thought I was, because I went through a lot of trauma raising him. But then my daughter teaches me to live. She shows me life. She shows me
mm,
why life is important,
mm,
because I don't think I was quite living before she came. She brought life to me. She opened up life. Like, here it is. It's like, thank God Maya came. Thank God for Maya. Joe gave me the strength to endure, but Maya showed me life. And
mm,
and they both were equally important to me, especially when so much of life and strength was trying to be pulled out of me,
mm.
from other people, places, and things, right? So I thank God for both our kids, for all of our
Yes,
kids,
all of
and
our kids.
everything that they
Yes,
show us, and everything that they
God.
teach us. And we should take that and live our lives and our
Our
passions
best
and
lives.
be
Yes.
successful at it. I just thank God for you, girl. I don't know where you came from.
God
I
for you too.
honestly don't know where you came from. I did not know you before starting the ladies league. And well, maybe I did. I don't know. But I did
Well,
not know you before the ladies
no, I
league.
didn't. No, we didn't know each other. But
Yeah.
my mother nicknamed me Angel. So I like to think I'm heaven sent.
Yes, you are heaven sent
Yes,
to
you
me.
do.
You are literally heaven sent to me, not just to me, but to all of our sisters that are part of the league in whatever capacity or group that they are part of. Just heaven sent, because what you think, feel, and believe just resonates so much in me and in all of the sisters, I would suppose. I could say. And it's definitely a blessing. It's refreshing. How sometimes we think we're in a silo. We think we're the only people that feel
Yes.
this way. We're the
Mhm.
only people who live this way. We're the only people that go through things. And so
Absolutely.
sometimes, every time I talk to you, I'm just like, where did she come from? Because I think you just hit me up on Facebook, right?
Hit you up on Facebook. Oh, when I joined the Ladies League
Yes.
of
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore. Yes, I had actually seen something about the Ladies League of Detroit, and I was like, "What is that about?" I was like, "That sounds interesting," and I was like, "I want to know more about it." And then I saw the Ladies League of Baltimore, and I said, "The Ladies League of Baltimore? Well, how can I know about that?" And so I think I did email you or message you or something because I was curious. I was like, I need to know, what that's about. My girlfriend was doing the Opulent Lady Business Network in Harford County, and I was like, we need something like that in Baltimore. And so when I saw, I was like, I got to find out more. I need to know. I need to
Yes.
know because I know part of my purpose is to encourage women. And so if I'm not in a network that is surrounding women that has access to other women, then I might be missing the mark because it's not just about being in church, it's about the world. It's about
Yeah.
impacting the world, a
Yep.
global
Yep.
impact. So,
Yep. Yep.
you know,
And the way that you're able to do that in such a real and loving and non-judgmental, authentic way is the gift, right? Because not everybody can do that amongst a group of women, to be able to separate themselves and what they think, feel, and believe, to be able to open themselves up to give to other women. That is a gift. I just want you to know, everybody is not called to do it, but there are some of us who have a special gift to do it. And I think you do. I know you do. I don't think. And I thank God for it. I thank you for coming here today and
mm,
being with me on the show. I was like, Felicia gonna be here. I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I had some ideas in mind, and everything that I had in mind, we didn't even talk about. God just came and did what needed to be done.
what he does
We did
best.
talk about some of it, but not all of it. I want to give you the last 5 minutes to talk about what you have coming up, where people could come and hear you speak and share your knowledge and expertise about life. Where can they come? How can they get in touch with you? How can they stay connected with you? Because I'm going to keep sharing this and sharing this and sharing this. So I want them to know what do you have coming up next, and how can they stay connected with you?
Well, I have several things coming up next. I am a co-author in a book, and I am a co-author in several other books. I have three other books coming this year. Um, so you can just be connected. You can reach out to me at
Oh man, we back on hit.
you can friend request me at Felicia Mckoy-Laguerre on Facebook. You can reach me at 443-402-5544. You can call or text, set up an appointment. I will be speaking at an event coming soon. I will be posting a lot of that information on Facebook. So in the month of June, so I have a few more speaking engagements. Just tag me on Instagram. I'm Custom Creations Bling. That's my paparazzi business. You can reach me through there. And you will see all of the different events that I have coming. It's too much information to just say this, and that, and it's
This you
such a
got so
variety.
much going on, but if they connect with you on Facebook, I think they'll see it all, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is absolutely fantastic. I will definitely be following you. I had a whole epiphany while you were talking, and since
Okay.
you've been on here, and it's been nagging at me, and it will not let me go. So I
Okay.
got to tell you about it while you on the show.
Okay. Awesome.
I've been wanting to do a ladies' league boot camp
Hmm.
where we would have different topics that we would open it up to the public as well. But I'm like, you and I definitely need to figure out what you would want to share with women. But we definitely need to do
Mhm.
this boot camp in the fall.
Okay. I'm definitely open
Okay.
to it and I'm ready.
All right. So
I'm ready.
anyway, I said it on here live, so you can't be like
Yes,
Michelle.
Lady
I can't
Lee
be like, girl, I don't know
boot
what you're talking
camp.
about. I ain't saying nothing about no boot camp. You be like, play it back, play it back. We gonna do a
Absolutely.
boot camp. We gonna do a boot camp, and it's gonna be a boot camp for women. And normally when we do boot camp, we're just focused on the physical. We will have the physical a part of it, but we really need to work on the emotional and the mental wellness as well. So we're gonna do a boot camp and definitely open it up to the public, not just to the league members. And I hope we can do it in the fall.
Okay. Yeah, we sure
Okay.
can.
Now I don't know how COVID is gonna do us. We might have to plan it to be virtual as well as in person, but we'll work on it. Let's work on it. Let's
Yes, yes,
definitely
yes,
work on it.
yes.
And I know Eliza Cooper would be, she's very new to the ladies' league, but I think Eliza Cooper would be good to bring on board to have it as well. So anyway, we should definitely do it. All
Okay.
right. All
Okay.
right. Okay. Closing out and choices, part of what we talked about in every intersection that we went into today and your story, we talked about choices. And when I ended on day 12, when Ayala was talking about choices, she says that the consequences of our choices or our failure to choose teaches us how to live in harmony with ourselves, that self is always guiding and protecting us. It is up to us to choose to listen to what self is saying. Because how I interpret that is that self is connected to God. And so we've got to listen to self, that inner voice. Um, it speaks to us as feelings, it speaks to us as the need to grow. When the pace of life or nervous habits force us to choose, we may not take time to listen within, weigh all the possible alternatives, and evaluate the consequences. Undoubtedly, these forced choices teach us what works and what does not work in our lives. On the other hand, clearly, forced choices grounded in self awareness and trust reveal to you the truth of your inner knowing. Your choices become your personal library of victories and success. or the need to spend more time honoring self. All choices, whether forced or focused, resistant or courageous, will take you to a level of understanding that will ultimately affect the way you view life. I think in everything you talked about, that's how it summed it up, right? That everything you've experienced in life just helped you to better understand you.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think you can say so confidently, I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be working with women. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be teaching. I'm supposed to be writing. I'm supposed to be doing all these things. Because she later says, and this is the last part, the willingness to make conscious choices is another way of demonstrating that you are ready to find new ways of living and being before you are forced to do it. And I know that God forced you to do many things, but now that you trust yourself more, you're more self-aware, you know who you are, you know your purpose, your destiny, it becomes focused choices now and not really forced. And I think that's why you still got that little situation over there, because it's helping you to stay focused.
Helping.
But
Yes,
as
it
soon as
is.
you don't need that anymore, that's gonna go away and be a thing of the past, because you'll
Mm,
know, because you'll make the choice to get rid of it, to remove it, to let it go. So thank you, girl, for being here
thank
today. This has
you.
been a fantastic
Thank
day, a
you.
fantastic show. Shout out to Trivia Payne, who is the CEO and founder of Trivia's Inspirational Radio. Shout out to Burgundy Ellison. Y'all go pick up her book, Bread, Fish Bones and Breadcrumbs. And I will see y'all here next week, same time, 12:30. Thank you so much. Felicia, I'm gonna call you. Have
Thank
a
you.
good
Can I
day.
say one thing
Yes.
before we leave?
Yes.
I want to just encourage someone that your setbacks may have amused someone, but your comeback is going to confuse them. God is going to vindicate you, and it doesn't matter where you started. It's all about where you finish. Know that if God is with you, you got this.
Good God Almighty. Thank you. I needed it myself. Bye. I'll see
Have
you
a good
soon.
day. Love
Bye
you. Bye bye.
bye.
Bye bye.